The adrenaline was just filling up my body, and then my heart was like boom, 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 boom. My heart was beating out of its chest. So I just got off the phone with a client of mine who's been interested in this one girl who works in the same building as him. He works in one company and she works in another company, but they work in the same building. And this client approached this girl before as a friend. She wasn't super friendly with him at first, but then later after getting to know him, she was a little more friendly. She brought her guard down. And then over time, he was pursuing her more and more and she never pursued him. But nevertheless, he still kept trying to pursue her to kind of gain her approval and to make her like him. As the weeks and months went on, he noticed that she never really took the initiative to get to know him, but he was always putting in more effort. He also became friends with her friend, who's a girl, and then long story short, they ended up hanging out with each other several times, but nothing seemed to progress. Everything was just the same. He never was able to get her out on a date, and several times she got mad at him because he was teasing her playfully, but she thought it was disrespectful. Even though, based on what he told me, it wasn't disrespectful at all. He was just being playful. First time she got upset with him. A few weeks later, he did it again, and she got upset with him again to the point where he wanted to apologize by bringing her flowers, thinking that that's going to make her see him in a different light, in a more romantic light. Now check this out. This whole time she wasn't chasing him at all or putting in any effort, yet he's still trying to double down on it. And then I was just telling him, dude, 2 questions. Number 1, why do you like her so much? And number 2, what does she have to offer? He was telling me, honestly, I just like her so much because I'm really attracted to her and I never felt this way about someone. And number 2, in terms of what she has to offer, he didn't know what to respond with. He doesn't know what she has to offer. And that's the topic of this video. You see, guys, a lot of guys do this. They end up in this hole. They dig this hole, this deep hole for themselves because they're so interested in women who are not even interested in them. Their interest in a woman is always out there. She's always out there. She's always out of reach for him. He can't seem to get their approval. The narrative in the back of their minds is always, how can I make her like me? What can I say for her to just see me differently? What can I do for her to trust me to be relationship material or boyfriend material? All those questions in your mind is the reason why you can't seem to attract these girls in the first place. Because number 1, you're not seeing it from a realistic perspective, aka what does she have to offer besides her looks? Because listen, looks are important, of course, but besides her looks. And number 2, the things that she is offering me, are those things that I'm actually seeking? Or am I just mentally sabotaging myself based upon my fears because I fear that no girl will ever like me? And this is the first woman who is super attractive, who's into me, then yes, I need to lock her down. And I used to do this myself. When I was 17 years old in Egypt, I was super interested in this one girl and I was interested in her just because she was very attractive. I sabotaged myself into thinking she's super special because she's attractive. She smiled at me a couple times from far away. I got her number and we talked just like 5-6 times in person total. And on Facebook, we talked maybe 5-6 times as well over the course of like 2 months. So I determined, yes, I definitely like this girl. And another reason why I really liked her was because I was like, she definitely likes me too because she smiles sometimes at me and she's playing hard to get. So long story short, I ended up planning in my mind that one day I'm just gonna tell her how I feel. One day I'm gonna walk up to her and be like, you know what? It's time for me to tell her how I feel. It's time for me to just be like, you know what? I've been feeling this way around you. And then once I tell her, she's gonna be like, aw, I like you too. I definitely wanna be your girlfriend, Isam. So I ended up one day messaging her, telling her, there's something I need to tell you tomorrow. To just kind of lock that in, to make sure I do it. And so the next day at school, right before going, I went into the bathroom to wash my face. And then there's this little bitch inside of me telling me, you can't do it, man. This is not gonna work out. And then the other part of myself told me, nah, man, do it. You need to do it because you need to get it out of your system. And you told her you wanted to talk to her about something. So as I was washing my face, I swear to God, the adrenaline was just filling up my body. And then my heart was like, boom, 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 boom. My heart was beating out of its chest. But anyways, nevertheless, I approached her. I separated her from her friends. And then eventually, me and her were walking alone. My heart's still beating really quickly. And I'm scared shitless. But I went ahead and told her. I was like, you know, we've been talking to each other for the past few months. After talking to you for those couple times, I grew feelings towards you and I just wanted to pursue something with you. And then I remember she smiled. This was her reaction. She smiled and a part of me was like, shit, I don't know what to do. And after she smiled, she was just like, I'm actually pursuing something with someone right now who was an ex, but he came back into the picture, so I'm re-pursuing things with him. So I was like, oh no, that's no problem, that's no problem. I was acting like I'm super unfazed, even though internally it was like I was being stabbed with a knife, like shit, that hurt. So we continued doing a couple laps around the school because it was recess time. And then I had some chocolates. I had gotten some pieces of chocolate because I thought that this was like empathy in a way, even though it doesn't make any sense whatsoever, because it's like, here, take some chocolates after I tell you how I feel about you, just in case I get rejected. Stupid me. But anyways, man, the reason why I tell you this story is because I like this girl, sure, because she was physically attractive. Sure, that's a valid point. But what did she have to offer? I literally didn't know. And the whole reason why I'm telling you my story is because a lot of people who are my age and beyond still think that way. They're attracted to a girl and she doesn't have anything to offer, so far as they know, right? She doesn't have anything to offer besides her looks. Yet these guys are head over heels for her. This guy, my client, was obsessed with her. She had nothing to offer him. But I guess rejection breeds obsession, just like the quote says. But man, like some people just think like that. Some people who are in their 30s or 40s still think like this. She's super attractive and she showed him attention a couple times. She smiled at him a couple times. Hey, how are you? And just because of that, they just want to latch onto her. And they start manipulating their own selves into believing that they actually like this girl. When truth be told, you should be asking yourself, what does this woman have to offer? You should have your own values. First of all, you have to explore your own values and level yourself up to meet those values, and then seek for a partner who has the same values as you. It's not that it's all about logic, because truthfully, it isn't all about logic. Part of it, yes, but not all of it. But what's more important is the values, for them to meet your values. Is this going to be a good mother to my children? Is this a woman whom had a healthy childhood, had a healthy dynamic with her father, has a healthy dynamic with her family? Is she family oriented? Is she emotionally mature? Is she a good communicator? What does she have to offer besides her looks and her body? Is she the type of woman who monkey branches from one man to the next? A lot of women are like this. Those are the things that you need to start asking yourself, because truthfully, sure, your feelings are part of the equation and you can't fully control them. However, here's what you need to do. You need to kind of separate yourself from your feelings and be like, all right, let me see how I'm going to react. When you pull yourself aside and look at yourself from the third person as if you're two different people, you look at yourself and you see, you know what? How am I responding to this situation? Why do I like this girl? Just because she's attractive and we spoke maybe 3 times and she smiled at me. Yeah, but what is she offering me? I'm offering her all this. I'm pursuing her. I'm doing this, and that. I really like her. Does she really feel the same about me? That's the important question, because chances are, if you're asking those questions and always the girl's level of interest in you is always out there, you're always trying to reach out there to bring her back in. If that's the case, then more than likely she's not that interested in you. I'm sorry to tell you this, bro, but it's the truth. And not just this client, a lot of my clients in the past were like this as well. Same pattern. Rejection just breeds obsession. This one girl who was part of their life years ago, I swear to God, yesterday I had a client, same thing. Years ago, there was a woman who was a part of his life, and she actually cheated on him with another guy, and he still wants her because of those memories that he cherished deeply with her. Even though according to his own rules, he can get other girls easily. But a lot of times we don't ask ourselves, what does this woman have to offer? If all she's offering you is some sex occasionally, is this really a good woman for you? What else does she have to offer? So this is something that you definitely need to think about. And listen, I don't want you thinking that I'm doing this just for a rant. Like, oh, it's a rant. All women are this, all women are that. No woman has anything to offer besides her looks. No, it's not that. However, you need to get clear on what you're looking for. What does this woman have to offer me? Do I really feel like this is a person who I can spend my future with? Or are my feelings fueled by anxiety? Because I'm so anxious about not getting her, but then finally she texts me once, then all of a sudden I'm free. I'm at her beck and call. And all of a sudden she's asking me to come pick her up from this place or that place because she's using me. Some guys have been through that as well. So the whole point, man, is to get clear on what that woman in particular has to offer, and then become level-headed when you kind of separate yourself, just like I said earlier. You separate yourself from yourself. It's like you're observing yourself in a way, and see how you react without judgment. If you see that your feelings are overpowering your logic, and there's no logic whatsoever in the situation, then you're literally acting like a girl. You're a man. You're supposed to be primarily logical. Sure, you have emotions, you acknowledge them, but you should be primarily fueled, or primarily driven rather, by your logic. So from now on, separate yourself, become more level-headed, have your values in check, start journaling and figuring out what your values are, elevate yourself up, level up, become that man who has those values, and then seek a partner who has similar values. I'm not saying a partner who's exactly the same as you, because that's oftentimes not the case, but a partner who values the same things that you do. That's what's going to lead you to a more happy and healthy and more productive life.